Today we're going to be revisiting Firebase Z. For some reason, out of all the Cold War Zombies maps, this is always the one that I return to the least. And I'm not really sure why, because honestly, I do thoroughly enjoy this map anytime that I play it. It's just that compared to all of the other Cold War Zombies maps, like you have D Machine, which is honestly a masterpiece, and Mauerder Toten, which again is another masterpiece. Like, don't even get me started on the Easter egg in that map and the boss fight. And then Forsaken, which the map itself is pretty decent, but I must admit that the boss fight is the best part about that map. And you have all the other aspects of Cold War Zombies like Outbreak and Onslaught. And I guess compared to all the other maps, I don't know, it's just Firebase Z ends up being the weak link in a way. But again, that's not to say that this map is bad, because all in all, Cold War Zombies was actually fantastic. I guess it's just when it comes to revisiting Firebase Z, I think about everything that it takes to get set up. I have to run around the map, turn on all the generators, I have to do the quest for the Ray K, and if it's not doing the quest, then I'm relying on RNG through doing the trials, and then after that, you know, the setup process in itself really isn't that bad. It's pretty standard as far as like zombies maps go. But then I think about what it takes to get to high rounds, because back in the day when I was playing Cold War Zombies, it was to grind out Dark Aether camo, but obviously, as you can see here, I'm done grinding out Dark Aether camo, I'm done grinding DM Ultra. At this point, anytime I play Cold War, whether it be zombies or multiplayer, I'm just playing this game for fun at this point, because I've hit all the max ranks, I've done all the mastery camos, and obviously when you're playing zombies for fun, well, normally you're just going for high rounds at that point, and going for high rounds in this map, that's when the cracks start to show, and that's when the problems kind of start to arise. Again, don't get me wrong, this map is a lot of fun, and it's absolutely gorgeous. In terms of aesthetic, it is so different from any of the other Cold War Zombies maps, because D Machine, you know, it was like snowy military base, and honestly, that map was absolutely gorgeous for what it was, and there was absolutely nothing else like that in Cold War Zombies. And then you have Mauerder Toten, where it's like, you know, rainy, nighttime, city aesthetic, and then when Forsaken came out, I must admit, I wasn't necessarily disappointed. It's just that I was hoping for something a little bit different, because Mauerder Toten already did the rainy nighttime aesthetic, and then Forsaken came out, and what do you know, it was just more of the rainy nighttime building aesthetic. Again, don't get me wrong, it's not that that aesthetic is bad, and I really liked how both of those maps look, and I still like how both of those maps look. It's just, I like a little bit of variety between the zombies maps. Like when you look at Black Ops 3, you have Shadows of Evil, it's like kind of rainy nighttime city, but then you got all like the different like tentacle aesthetics going on. Then you got Dreisendracht with the snowy castle, and then Zetsubo with the swampy aesthetic, and then Gorod Krovi, I don't even know how to begin to explain that one. It's like the Russian city with like, I don't know, the fire with the dragons and stuff. And then you have Revelations, which is just an acid trip. And that's just the base game stuff. That I forgot to even mention the Giant, which obviously that's like, you know, the German facility with a bit of the snow aesthetic going on there. And then you got Zombie Chronicles with all the remakes that, you know, that comes with. But in Cold War Zombies, all we really had was Onslaught, which was, you know, that was basically just multiplayer maps and zombies, which that's fine. That's something that I've been asking for years, so I absolutely adore that. But in terms of like unique zombies maps, I mean, Outbreak doesn't even count, which just leaves us with Snowy Facility with D Machine, Firebase Z, which has this cool jungle, almost like Shangri-La-esque aesthetic, but then Mauerder Toten and Forsaken, for some reason, just kind of like blend together in my mind when I think about their aesthetics. I don't know, maybe that's a little nitpicky on my end, but that's just me. Oh, and here we go. Here is the first Mimic that we're fighting in this match. Now, thankfully, Treyarch did add in that little super Easter egg where, you know, you're able to spawn in with a bit of a stronger weapon, so the Mimics aren't too bad. But let me tell you, in that early game of Firebase Z, if you don't have the proper weapons for it, those Mimics and the Manglers, yeah, they kind of can be a pain. And that's part of the reason why I typically don't end up playing this map when it comes to like just going for high rounds and playing for fun, because like, you know, the other maps, they do have their share fare of mini boss encounters that you have to deal with throughout the game. Like D Machine, there's a decent bit of Megatons, but it wasn't too bad there. And then this map really ramped it up with the Mimics and the Manglers, and then it kind of just like progressively got more and more intense with like the boss encounters as the maps went on. Like Mauerder Toten, you had like all the different mini bosses that were in that map, and then Forsaken took it to a whole other level. But despite that, no matter how many mini bosses that the other maps added, Firebase Z just always ended up feeling the most annoying to me, because sure, like the Manglers, they were relatively easy to deal with, right? But then like the Mimics, there was just so much Mimic spam on this map, and it was sometimes like honestly overbearing once you got to the higher rounds. That's part of why when I was going for my one round 100 run on this map, I ended up exfilling by the time I got to like, what was it, round 60, I think, just because there was so many Mimics. It was just genuinely annoying to play the map to a certain extent. Now, granted, I'm not sure if they ever went back and nerfed it or adjusted it, but the last time I played it and the last time I tried to go for higher rounds, the Mimics were just genuinely too much at a certain point. Despite that, there is a lot that I love about this map. Like, the Easter egg, for the most part, is pretty good up until you get to that one step where you have to, like, trap the Mimic in that one device thing, yeah, I never liked that step. I never even fully learned how to do it properly. I always ended up just kind of throwing it at any Mimic that I could, and yeah, it always takes me a while to get that step done. I really don't like that step. And that's not to mention how glitchy that step can be. It's just the whole mess. But otherwise, the Easter egg is pretty good. The boss fight's pretty solid. The Wonder Weapon is a fully automatic ray gun. Like, it's awesome. And otherwise, like I've said, yeah, like aesthetically speaking, the map is absolutely gorgeous. And I love just about every other aspect of the map outside of that one Easter egg step and outside of the Mimic spam later on. I can't even tell you the last time that I played this map. You know, I've revisited all the other Cold War zombies in recent memory, but I don't think that I've played Firebase Z since 2021. It's been almost a solid 2 years since I played this map, whereas for all the other zombies maps, I play them on a regular basis. The only other Cold War map that I haven't played since 2021 would have been Outbreak, just because I played it, I did the Easter eggs, and that was really it. One thing worth noting that this map brought back is Tombstone, and this time, what do you know? It wasn't garbage. Another thing that this map added, which we may or may not get to see in this video, was the assault waves, where like every couple of waves, the Order would come attack, you'd have to come fend off the zombies at the different outposts, and you have to also fight off the Order. It was like this cool like boss wave. I don't even know how to explain it. It was honestly just really cool. It was like a tower defense type thing in zombies, which is pretty ironic if you know what the origins of zombies were in the first place, like back in World at War before it was created. Normally when you Pack-a-Punch a gun in Cold War Zombies that has a camo on it, the Pack-a-Punch camo won't actually replace the camo. So if I Pack-a-Punch it right now, Dark Ether is just going to stay on my gun. But apparently, and I've never tried this, if you knife the Pack-a-Punch machine, it'll let you change over to the Pack-a-Punch camo, which is what I like to do. I like using the Pack-a-Punch camo on any Zombies map. So let's see. If I knife it, okay, did a thing, and then when I Pack-a-Punch it, no, it didn't change it. It's still just using Dark Ether. It's not a huge deal. I mean, Dark Ether is obviously beautiful, but I was pretty sure that I was told as long as you knife the Pack-a-Punch before you Pack-a-Punch it. Oh my god, dude, we literally just obliterated that Mimic. I thought that as long as you knife the Pack-a-Punch, it would actually switch the camo over, but I guess not. I think we're gonna go ahead and put Shatter Blast on this weapon, just so then by the time that the Manglers come, we're able to obliterate them. I think I'll go ahead and load up on a couple of perks too. We'll grab Deadshot, and apparently that's all I can afford. Well, while we're at it, I guess we'll go ahead and try to do some of the trials and see if maybe we can get the Ray K in this video. Ray K is genuinely a fantastic wonder weapon. Not only is it a fully automatic ray gun, but it also kind of has like the Ray Gun Mark 3 ability where like if you shoot out the one orb thing and then you shoot into it, then it like goes all explodey. This is one of my favorite parts about Cold War. You know, you had all like the different upgrade trees that you could level up by unlocking crystals, which you literally just got for playing the game, and then there was a bunch of different trees you could level up, and one of those was a melee weapons, and now since I maxed out my melee tree, I will forever have a Bowie knife. And this thing is just, I mean, the gameplay speaks for itself. This thing is beautiful. If I'm gonna be honest, most times I end up not even doing the quest for the wonder weapons in these maps. I usually just end up relying on the trials machine because it's so much easier and the RNG is always so much in your favor that you can usually get it after just doing 1 or 2 trials. Like, look at that. I did 1 trial and it's already all the way up in the epic tier. Now if I do 1 more, I'll be able to get it all the way up to legendary. All right, for this one, we gotta camp it out outside of the field hospital. I have a Pack-a-Punch Galil, so, you know, I'm not too worried. The thing about zombies is it was always a gradual stream of progression. You gradually get your perks, you gradually get your weapons, and you know, you slowly evolve up to like building the wonder weapons and stuff. But Cold War Zombies is just a constant power trip. And you know what? I love it. And despite the game like always being a power trip to a certain extent, you still like are on your toes just because of like how fast and how aggressive the zombies are. So even though you're always extremely powerful, you're still not powerful enough to be invincible, even with all the perks and various weapon upgrades and level trees and such. It's a really hard dynamic to get right, yet somehow Treyarch, being the absolute mad lads that they are, they nailed it in this game. I have no idea how my reward isn't in legendary tier yet. I literally stayed inside of that area for the entire duration of the challenge, but just like many of my efforts in life, I guess it just wasn't good enough. All right, there we go. It's finally in the legendary tier. I remember this was one of the best spots to camp out when Firebase Z first launched. You literally just sit in the corner here. You'd have to leave this door closed, but then the zombies would just like run at you in a straight line. It was perfect for grinding Dark Ether camo. Ray K, please be mine, and we only got a perk. Yeah, that's a shame. I was hoping we could get the Ray K in this video, but it is what it is. At the very least, we did get a fire sale, so maybe the box will give it to us. Mystery box, a mystery box, please give me the 1911. All right, we got one more spin in the box. Can I please get the Reiki? I would really appreciate it. No, I got the Mulatto. I know I said this in one of my previous Cold War Zombies videos, but I never use the box in this game. I only use it if I get a fire sale, which is ironic because back in the day, you could only ever get a fire sale if you at least got a teddy bear first, but in this game, you can just get a fire sale anyway, which I think that was a nice change. After revisiting this map, I can definitely say, you know, this map deserves a lot more love. Like I'm guilty of it, you know? I shoved this map off to the side. But that's just also kind of like the common consensus among the community that Firebase Z is kind of like the worst map in Cold War Zombies, or it's like, just, you know, not necessarily that it's a bad map, it's just, you know, the weakest link, like I was saying. Yet despite being the weakest link, it's also the weakest link in what is a quite phenomenal Call of Duty Zombies game. So with that being said, yeah, this map is honestly still really good, and after revisiting it for the first time in 2 years, honestly, I think I'm gonna start revisiting this one a lot more. After revisiting it today, I realized that I actually love this map a lot more than I initially realized. But anyway, now I definitely love to hear from you guys. Do you guys love Firebase Z? Are you not really too hot on this one? Do you think it's underrated, properly rated? Whatever it is, whatever you're thinking, I'd definitely love to hear from you guys. But anyway, as always, a massive shout out and thank you to all the patrons, thank you to all of you in the low baller tier, and an even bigger shout out and thank you to all of you in the big baller tier, Mellow Lasking and Big Daddy Matty, and the biggest shout out and thank you of all to all of you in the G tier, Rider Vengeance and Little Cheese Girl. Thank you guys so much. You guys are literal legends. I love you. Thank you guys for watching. Have an amazing day. Stay beautiful. I love you all. Peace.